We're talking today about competition. Everyone now on social media and in gyms is talking about competing in whatever category they fit into. Men and women, bodybuilding, physique, figure, bikini. It's the new big thing. And as a sport, if you want to call it a sport or a beauty pageant or whatever it is, it's blown up, and it makes sense to look at the pros and cons of competing and whether you should do it. This is just my 2 cents. There are opinions here along with truths that are my own. So I suppose take my opinion as it comes. So first off, what do you stand to gain from competing? What's the point? It's a great thing to have like a date mentally that you're preparing for, rather than the kind of abstract, I'm going to get fit, or I'm going to get shredded, or I'm going to add muscle. Having a date when it's like, yeah, this is the time that I'm going to go and show everyone my physique, and I've got to be in the best shape I've ever been in. Having a date for that is good. Does it have to be a bodybuilding show? No, it doesn't. It could be a photo shoot, it could be a holiday, it could be whatever. But I agree that setting a date is good, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bodybuilding show. It's also good, I think, some people have a competitive gene, and they feel the need to get up and stand up and be compared with other people, whether that's like sporting and playing someone at like a football match, or it's the kind of objective way that bodybuilding shows are judged. There is obviously a competitive aspect to it, and I understand that fully. There are cons though, and this falls under the why don't I compete sort of umbrella. First of all, you're up against people who may or may not be using exogenous hormones. Whether it's a natural tested competition or not, the fact remains is that the drugs in the competitive circuit are being used widely. We're talking hormones, so testosterone. We're talking growth hormone. We're talking insulin. Everything, synthol, ephedrine, diuretics to dry people out. And if you don't want to go that route, and I never want to touch drugs, if you don't want to go that route, you are not going to succeed. And that's just a fact. You can't compete with someone with an FFMI of 32, who's on the IFBB pro stage. You're just not going to be able to compete with that person. Maybe locally at national shows, you'd be able to stand up to someone who was using something that was on the banned substance list, but really moving forward, it's unlikely. Also, there's the trade-off of what do you gain and what do you stand to lose. And in terms of standing to lose, it's very, very tough on the body. It's stressful preparing for a competition. You devote a lot of time, a lot of energy. You've got to pay actual money for your food, if you're getting coaching, posing practice, the tan, the entry fee. And by the time you've paid for all of that, even if you win, you're probably still going to be at a loss, because you're paying all that money to win a plastic $5 trophy and maybe like a tub of whey protein. Not to mention the strain it might put on relationships if you're, tired and cranky all the time from dieting. In terms of your health, girls who compete, getting to sub 15% body fat on a woman, hormones start to stop being produced at the level they're supposed to. Estrogen, for example, the menstrual cycle can stop. It's very, very unhealthy. And also when fat goes that low, the size of the breasts are reduced, and that's considered a negative in the judging criteria. So a lot of girls go out and get boob jobs. So again, we're talking both a medical risk and a financial hit in order to compete well. And I'm not taking anything away from the people that do it, because it obviously it takes a lot of dedication, and I can understand why some people love it and have the drive to compete. But I guess what I'm here to say is that there are definitely pros and cons, and you think about why you're doing it, because ultimately competition isn't necessary to achieve loads of other things within health and fitness. You know, if you want to get into peak condition and showcase it, book a photo shoot. You know, it's you know you're getting something out of it. Some like £300 freak isn't going to show up and win because they're taking everything under the sun and genetically so gifted or whatever. You know, it's just like, that's yours. You're going to have the photos at the end of it, something to be proud of, and it's a date for you to set in your mind that you're preparing for. If you're doing it to further your kind of standing in, you know, become a fitness celebrity, or, you know, help you out on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I would say that it's not the route to that. Or, you know, sponsorships and all that jazz. It's, people do get sponsored at shows. People are discovered at shows and get magazine shoots or, you know, supplement deals. Their YouTube channel blows up. It does happen. But for every one person that it does happen for, there are a lot of people who it doesn't. And case in point, the other day on my Instagram, I was followed by an IFBB pro in Mens Physique. So International Pro Mens Physique. He had far less followers than me, like a quarter of the followers that I did. And he messaged me and he said, oh, you know, great physique, bro, blah, blah, blah. And then, would I be interested in a shout out for shout out, where, you know, I say, go follow him. He says, go follow me. And we like cross-pollinate followers. And I said, sorry, man, you know, thanks for the comments, but sorry, man, I don't do the shout out for shout out thing or whatever. But I thought, this guy is an IFBB pro. He is like in the big leagues, and my social presence is greater than that, which I've built through my USP, my niche, which is giving practical advice and nutrition from a natural standpoint, on everything from biomechanics to supplementation, and through the background of my education, trying to help people out to kind of do the same thing that I did with my physique. And I didn't need to compete for that. And, you know, I turn away sponsorship deals sometimes. I've had supplement companies come to me that want to associate with me because I have like followers on Instagram and whatever, which I say no to because I don't use their products, don't believe in their products, or for whatever reason, don't like how the brand presents itself. But, you know, I've got these opportunities coming through the social media aspect of what I've done. And my social media has absolutely nothing to do with competition. And it's possible. And in fact, if you look at a lot of the people that are famous on Instagram, even if Instagram, YouTube, whatever, the social sphere, even if they do compete, like Matt Ogus and Chris Jones, has Chris Lovato competed? I can't remember. But Rich Piana, you know, they have competed, but that's not why they're famous on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. They are respected in the industry and well known, and people follow them because of their personality and what they have to offer and the advice they have to give. It's not the competition. It's not like, oh, he won this thing, so, you know, that's why he's famous. I mean, even the top guys like Kai Green. Kai is not respected and thought of as Kai Green because of his Arnold Classic wins or whatever. Kai is famous and has a following larger than that of Mr. Olympia because he's Kai. And it's, even if he stopped competing right now, even if he never did another show, we all know that we'd still keep following him. We still watch his videos and read articles about him and everything, because Kai Green as a brand, as a person, is what you're buying into. You don't care whether he wins a show or not, ultimately. You're rooting for him, sure. But it's not everything. And that's what I wanted to say, is competition is great for those who have the drive to do it. And you've got to be doing it for you. You've got to think, why am I doing this? And if it's because it means a lot to you to get the little... This is an aftershave bottle, but... to get the little trophy and say, yes, you know, I did this and I achieved this and it was all me, and you know, I'm really happy with myself, and that means a lot to you, by all means do it and give it your best shot. But if you're doing it because you're expecting to receive money from it, it's not going to happen. And if you do what the top 0.01% of people that do compete and do earn money, they're not earning as much as you think, and they are sacrificing a lot for that money. You know, if the competition win is your job, and there are drugs and things like that are detrimental to your health, but they can get you that win, that money, you're going to do it. And that's a trade-off that a lot of these guys and girls make. So you shouldn't be doing it for money. You shouldn't be doing it because you think it's going to further your brand or your business or your social media career or whatever, because again, it's probably not. And the last thing is, the amount of effort that you put into competing is huge. And if you took that effort and that time and that drive and put it into, I mean, anything, your business, a relationship, setting up a new business, learning the guitar, like anything, you would do incredibly well at it. And that's what I've done, actually, is I take the intensity that I could put into competing, and I put that into my career, and earning more money, and it pays dividends in what is important in life to you. And what's important to life in me is to be successful for myself, but also family, people I care about. That's what's important to me. And you know, in terms of helping people and the buzz that I get from helping with coaching and things like that, I don't need to compete. I can coach people through competition, but I don't need to compete myself. So again, it doesn't fit in with what I want to do, and I care about other things more, and I would rather put my intensity and drive into other areas of my life than I would do into competition. That's not to say that I probably wouldn't, you know, enjoy the preparation for one if I did do one, but I don't have the drive to. And in my view, the cons outweigh the pros. I can understand why for some people it would be the other way around, but that's just my 2 cents. So the takeaway from this is, if you are going to compete, do it for you, but be aware that there are the drugs, the health issues, the lack of monetary gain and actually probably monetary loss, the realities around the politics in the sport, and the likelihood of you being discovered or sponsored or whatever. It's a very crowded playing field, and I would tread carefully before you make the decision to go for it. And if you want to, all power to you, best of luck, and I respect that. But I'd just be sure of why you're doing it and aware of the realities that are involved. That's my 2 cents, guys. Remember to subscribe and check out some of my other videos where I'm talking about training and nutrition and meal prep, and there's one where I eat Five Guys burgers, and it's all good. It's all good. Go check my channel.